I was thinking that we can talk about this if you agree with me on this right now. So
We
oftentimes
can talk about it even if I disagree.
exactly.
This is the Nuclear Option Podcast with Chris and Aziza Butler, the podcast for those who dare to believe in the power of the nuclear family.
In a time when it's harder than ever to raise a family, we want to encourage you to be proud of your family. Invest in your family because our families are the most promising solutions for the problems in our world.
This is the Nuclear Option Podcast, where we discuss the politics, the practice, and the promise of family.
From our home to yours, we're inviting you into a conversation about family, not just as a private institution, but as a public good. Greetings, guys. Welcome. We're back.
Welcome in. We are recording another podcast. Hey, I hope that you all enjoy these episodes. We want to make more and more, and in order to do that, we need your support. So if you enjoy the content that we put out on this podcast, will you please just go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel? If you are listening to this on any podcast platform, go ahead and leave us a good review and a 5-star rating, and share an episode with somebody who you think will benefit from it.
Yes, we love bringing this podcast to you guys because it helps us just to reflect a little bit more on what we do every day. And we know you are out there doing it every day. And so you all could just use some encouragement and let you guys know we're at least doing it together, right? So that makes it all the more better. Hi, my love. How are you feeling with all the tornadoes in Illinois this past week?
I am feeling hopeful that there will be a dry basement waiting for me when I get.
Oh my gosh, guys. Our basement the water just keeps coming. And honestly, a couple of those nights, I didn't even know it was there. You cleaned it up and everything before I could even know that there was ever a problem. God bless you.
I think I know how to fix it. If it ever stops raining,
Then we can finally dig it out. That's like a whole project. You got to go outside of the building outside the house and dig up and make like a moat or something.
I mean, it's not a moat.
Or something. I don't know.
Patch it, and it's fine.
Woo. Okay, well, Godspeed.
Anyways,
yes.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm pretty great. Pretty excited. I went to Mexico and celebrated my best friend from high school's birthday. That was great. I feel like I'm still just riding high just from that alone.
Trips to Mexico on luxury tours will do that to you.
Woohoo! Yay! Happy birthday, Nikoli. Okay, let's jump into it. So as we do, guys, we talk about the politics and the practice, then finally the promise. So, love, what do you have for us in the politics of family in 2026 of June?
So we have an interesting story that we got from producer Mike from the New York Times, which, of course, everybody loves the New York Times. And they are pointing out the fact that perhaps our politics are catching up with the reality that parenting is really important in society, because if nobody raises kids, that's a big problem, and raising kids has become increasingly difficult. They do a nice job in the article sort of laying out this reality of parenting going from this thing that was largely communal, largely seen as like a moral good, as a community good, to increasingly something that was like an individual choice. You do it if you want to. It's kind of a luxury, but certainly not something that you have to do. Maybe something that you choose not to do if you want to exceed in a career or something like that. And so it became like this much more individualized, much more expensive thing to do with childcare, food costs, all the things. Anybody who's raising children, is really, it can be expensive, and it can feel like the world is aligned not for parenting. And so this article is pointing out that maybe both political parties are beginning to notice this. It talks about how Republicans and folks on the right are thinking about birth rates and talking about child tax credits and different things like that. Folks on the left are more focused on the economics of parenting overall, and looking at things like subsidizing childcare. We see that in like New Mexico, New York. So folks are looking at different kind of policy solutions, but at least it seems like the
They both are
issue
recognizing it, that
is
there's an
coming to the
issue.
fore.
That is so interesting. So wait, so I have a question. Are you saying that everybody I mean, that we kind of got here because it went from being more of like an expected kind of normal thing to more kind of privatized, and so then we that's how we kind of got to some of the issues that we have around childcare and expenses and things like that. And so now that they're realizing like, wait, this is this is
Yeah.
something that we all need to be in on. Now we're trying to figure out how to make it a little bit more not shared responsibility, that sounds bad, but
I mean,
but
that
kind of
doesn't
like
sound
a
bad to me, but
community.
I think a shared responsibility is right because even if you're not raising children, families are kinda like the engine of society. Like, if you're not raising children, you are a person who used to be a child
True,
and somebody raised you, and you can't get more people, I mean, without procreation,
right.
and somebody's gotta do that work, and it is a social good, and so a shared responsibility, I think, is to me, a fine way to look at it. Um, and I think that the article is making that argument that this is how we got here. I think I generally and broadly agree with it. Um, but yeah,
And
that
so now it's just a matter of kind of like reshaping or rethinking how to support families in a way that is helpful
yeah,
across on both sides of it. So they both recognize that it's an issue that needs to be addressed, but they have different views on how to do it.
yeah, for sure. And I think both of those are sort of incomplete, but we'll see.
But that is the politics of family.
That is the politics of families.
So
So
let's get in the
there's
conversation,
an
all of us
opportunity for
in.
families
Yes, let's
to
all get
connect.
in on it. You guys are on one of those spectrums, right? Or somewhere in there. So let your voice be heard on that matter too.
What do we have on tap for the practice?
Okay, so for the practice, I was talking to Love
Sounds like
about
she likes
how
whispering.
what'd you say? Don't whisper to them and not tell me. I'm just kidding. No. So I was thinking that we can talk about this if you agree with me on this right now. So
We can
oftentimes
talk
as
about it even if I disagree with you.
exactly. As we are raised so a big thing that we do in families are we raise our children and train them, and so much of raising children is just training them to do the things that are gonna be helpful and beneficial for them, as adults and for their own lives. But I've been just kinda thinking about this idea of, like, how about if we train them to not just do what they have to do right now, but with the mindset and the mentality of you're going to also one day have to train somebody else to do this. So we're training you basically to be a trainer for your future children or your whoever you lead one day. And so for instance, how this kind of plays out is like, okay, you all are, it's your day to clean the bathroom. Let me see how you clean this toilet. And it's like, okay, instead of just saying, well, you have to hold it like this, you have to, clean back here, you have to move that up is that, hey, no, when you're teaching your children to clean the toilet, make sure you always tell them to clean not just the top of, but you also have to clean on the sides and down at the bottom because kids often miss that. So make sure you teach your children about cleaning the bottom of it as well. And I just think I mean, it's the same thing, but I feel like it helps them to see like a purpose behind what they're doing and why it's so useful even beyond themselves right now, but it kind of puts them in a mindset of like a mission of that. And then not only for just basic things like that, but even for like spiritual things and like growing as like servants of the Lord and all of those things or raising their children, however it goes. But in that same way, like training them and raising them to know that one day you're going to have to raise your children in the faith and teaching them the word of the Lord. Like so I'm like how do, like think about it in that mindset, not just you're learning this so that you can get close to the Lord, but also you're learning so that you can teach those who are coming behind you how to draw near to the Lord, how to have a quiet time, how to study your Bible, how to do all of the things. Um and I think and I wanted to tell you, love, so
You wanna tell me?
yeah. Oh, you agree with that? What do you think about that?
Tell the people, tell the
Okay.
pod
All right. So I think that this is pretty cool because God is never just concerned. Like we're so concerned about our time in, the generation that we're in. And we think about, okay, I'm here, it's 2026. I'll probably live until I'm 90 or 100 or whatever. So the most we think about is like 2036, right? But that's way longer than 100. Anyway, whatever year you're thinking, but
You said 2036 is 100 years.
I'm sorry. No, no, that's all. I'm sorry. Cut that part out, guys.
Nope, leave it
I
in there.
was thinking
Leave it in
21, 26. But even still, none of that is 100 years from now. Oh,
21,
Lord.
26 is 100 years from now.
I mean, no, it's not. I'm saying 100 years. If I'm 100 years old, but I'm already 40, so it's only
Are you saying
60
when
from
you are
now.
100?
Right. So,
Okay.
anywho, we'll cut that
That's
part out.
2096.
Good job. You would never know which one of us loves math here. With this last 20 seconds of this conversation. Wow. It's okay. This is how God keeps us humble. Thank you, Lord. All right. But yeah, God, we always think about our lifetime, but the Bible says our life is just but a vapor. It's like if we spray we spray Lysol or something or Febreze in the room, like that little mist, that was our lifetime right there, the whole thing. But that's like as a vapor, but God is thinking always generationally. He's always like, he's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So he's thinking about longer than just Abraham's timeline. So a lot of times we have to think that. So as we're training the kids and things, it's like, hey, think about when you're training your children or their children. So
Yes. So I was saying before the show, before we started recording, that I don't think kids care about that. Um, I certainly didn't when I was little because I feel like my dad used to say that often, like, "Hey, when you get married, this, so you got to do," and I'm like, whatever, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like that has no connection to my world at all. Um, but
yet here he stands. And what age were you when you got married, love?
I married you.
And how old were you? You don't know how
22.
old you are, love. You were 22 when you got
I was
married.
22.
And
I've been married a
was
long
that like a
time.
new concept to your mind, or you're like, oh, I'm going to get married now?
No, it was very
Exactly.
much
Is
a
very much
concept.
ingrained and like a part of your whole
My
life
dad was not
thinking.
great at marriage either, so
It doesn't matter. He trained you to, it's like when you get married, you have to do this. When you get married, that. When you get married, this. Right?
but when you
See,
were talking, I did think about because I read that in my reading this morning because I'm in the Old Testament, whatever. Like what I read Old Testament and New and so on, but whatever.
I love that.
Uh,
That's so great. You guys should do
the
Old Testament, New Testament, and a Psalm. Very
the
balanced.
passage I was reading like that end of Deuteronomy where like Moses is rounding it off. But it really is all through Deuteronomy where Moses is constantly
Hmm.
telling them to like teach these things to
Yep.
your children
Exactly.
so that they can teach them to
That
their
come
children
on. Exactly. See,
so
that's what
that
I'm
you grow
talking
nations.
about, y'all. That's the practice.
So that's a point in your favor.
Amen. I didn't come up with it. I'm just like leaning into it now because a lot of times I feel like kids, you're right, they don't have a mindset for it when they're, little. It's like, I don't care. I don't want to clean the bathroom ever. So I definitely don't want to burden my kids with cleaning a bathroom. But
Never gonna make my kids.
right, I would say things like that. When I'm grown, I'm never gonna do what did I would think it was the bathroom. I just hated cleaning the bathroom. I would do dishes for days, but that bathroom was like bleh. But now here I am, not only cleaning the bathroom, but training 6 kids to clean a bathroom. When I six, Cole is too little in the scene.
You need to
Anywho,
start now.
I agree. 2-year-olds can clean bathrooms too. They can help in a little bit. They can pick up things. Anyway, but all of it is like just giving them kind of a context and a mindset for when the time comes when their brain development catches up with their calling and the duty,
Yes.
they will be ready and they'll have the mindset and be down for the mission of kind of the bigger picture. It's not just about cleaning this toilet right now. This is about all of the things that you're like this is a yeah, it's a mission of tidiness and helpfulness and taking care of it and as a community, and they even feel a little bit more kind of bowed in. So anyway, but I think
Yeah.
that goes for everything, even when it comes to like their schoolwork, and all of their learning and just all the things, like all the things that require training, setting up that context for them. But
Beautiful.
yeah, that's our practice, guys. All right, and then lastly, we like to highlight just a promise where it's something that is just something. If you haven't joined us before, what we talk about at the promise section is where we see this family thing kind of taking just being a public good. So where it's in society and we see it happen in real time. So God ordained family, where have we seen that it really is a blessing to society? So you have one for us, love.
Well, we were talking about it before we started recording. It's Father's Day weekend coming up as we're recording. Who knows when this will hit uh, uh, it's not the
Coming to you
airwaves
guys.
yet. Uh, things, I mean, there are airwaves still exist, but this is a podcast, so we're not on the radio, so it's not on the airwave.
Or
It's
you can
coming
be
to you
listening to
digitally.
it. It'll be forever here. So maybe it doesn't matter what time of the year
Yes, maybe
you're
one
listening
day
to it.
this will hit the airwaves. Somebody will replay this on a radio station, and people will be listening on their transistor radios and get some information about nuclear family. And if you're listening in 2136 or 2096,
Exactly.
or maybe this is 2036, we don't know. Um, but if you're listening post-apocalyptically, there was a thing that we used to have called Father's Day weekend. If you're listening in the present, it is now. And so we wanted to talk
Happening right
about
now.
we wanted to talk about as we hit Father's Day weekend, the promise
Of
fatherhood,
fathers. Yay.
which is a part of the family.
Yes.
And so there were a number of things that we were looking at, but I think that the general point is that fathers, one, all of the data around like how fathers impact children, right?
Yeah.
So less likely to be involved in violence, less likely to use drugs, less likely to, drop out of
These are
school,
just
et
the
cetera, et
facts.
cetera.
Yeah.
Which everybody knows that communities are better with fewer people who are violent, drug addicted, and dropped out of school.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Even if any one of those things, but certainly all those things, violent, drug
For
addicted,
sure.
dropouts.
Triple threat.
um, but then also there was one article that was talking about how a lot of times fatherhood, like grows outward with children. So dads become involved in like coaching, which I have to say I have not, but a lot of my friends have.
Okay, first of all, I think you have been involved in
I
coaching.
coached their debate
Definitely.
team.
That's true. And you really helped them out with basketball. You did like one coaching session for
I did go
basketball.
to one practice and help because it was like the end of the season.
And that was super helpful. They ended up really
I
coming
didn't
through.
take the trip with them.
It's okay. That's what I'm saying. But you're definitely more
Anyways,
involved than the family, the fathers 50 years ago were in their kids'
um,
sports. Definitely.
I don't think so. I think fathers always were the heart and soul of sports.
Maybe.
Not changing diapers, but sports always held that down. But like that kind of like extension of fatherhood into the community, taking in, working together, taking in other people's kids. I mean, not like taking them in, but just extending that formative presence into shared space.
Yeah.
Um, and there was some research and some articles about how that makes a difference. So just I think taking a moment to give a shout out to the fathers who are listening to the Nuclear Option podcast, and if you know a father who is not listening to this podcast, send them the podcast so they can listen to it so we can say happy Father's Day to you. Keep doing
Yay.
what you do. If you're not doing it, uh, no better time than the present to start.
And I want to second that. Fathers are so important to the family. A lot of times, I know just even you, love, but I'm sure a lot of fathers do the same thing where they just may feel like, like, oh, does it make that much of a difference when I'm around? That's because you're not around when you're not around, right? Like when you're not there, these kids are a little bit harder than than when you are there. So they just it's a whole your presence just makes a huge difference. But I will tell you, just as a daughter, I definitely grew up as a daddy's girl. I mean, I love my mom very, very much. I was very close to her, but I was very much kind of like a daddy's girl. But one thing I think that, and I'm just saying this from a personal thing, and I've talked to other, like girls, but when you grow up, close to your dad or having a relationship with him, like you have a sense of kind of like direction and identity about who you are and and just like a security of knowing, like I'm set, and I think as you get older, you begin so if you have once you have a develop a relationship with the Lord, it's so much easier to I shouldn't say easier, but it that becomes, hits differently knowing like it's kind of like you have that earthly example to kind of go off of and it's like, oh, okay, like anyway, so I think just you doing your thing is so helpful. And honestly, not just for girls, for boys too. Not saying you can't get this from your mom, but for sure, a dad's your dad will definitely help to just give you kind of just that sense of direction, identity, security, and just this kind of like authentic love that and acceptance that is hard
Yeah.
um to get from someone
Yeah, I mean,
else.
I think it's hard to replicate, and we don't have
Yeah,
to, like, that'll be another podcast next year for Father's Day, or Mother's Day. But I think it's so important to, like, just draw that line and be like, there are things that you can get from your father that you can't get from your mother.
yeah,
There are things that you get from your mother that you can't get from your
for
father,
sure.
right? Like, that is why I think God designed it so that every single person who comes into the world is a biological outcome of two individual people,
Yeah,
and they really have a need for, and I think a right to, access those biological persons that they are the outcome of.
yeah,
Um, and you need both.
yeah.
But it's Father's Day weekend, so shout out to the
Yeah, so
dads.
let's talk about that another day. But yes, shout out to the fathers. You guys are doing your thing. And when you do it, especially you, my love, as you do it, we're so grateful and the kids benefit so much from it. I also just want to say happy Father's Day to all of the bonus dads and stepdads and goddads and uh
And shout out
cousin dad,
to Larry
uncles, whatever you
Cherry
call it.
Rule, because that's Aziza's dad.
Yay.
She's still a daddy's girl.
I am. I love my dad very much. um, and also I wanted to highlight one, this is kind of small, but Mariah is like our bonus daughter.
She is.
And she's 27 now. But I know this is crazy. She used to be like 11, which is anywho, but she's with us and her father died at a young age when she was like 9 years old. So her being with us and being with you, I know that's been just has been really refreshing and healing in that way, even though you're not her biological father, just having, just that kind of support and covering, knowing that like, this one's got me. I think that's been super helpful for her in these years. I know because we talk about it all the time, but it's been like helpful. Even like when her car was making noise, you listen to the car, you're like, wait a minute, you're like you were talking to the mechanic and all that. That's just helpful. Not saying that no one else can do that, but it just hits differently when a father figure is, there to help you out. And she has other father figures, but um so I think all of you guys just make such a big difference. So kudos to you guys. Um what you do as fathers is so helpful for the community, so helpful for your family. And yeah, so guys, kudos to you guys. Keep loving each other, y'all,
Hold on to truth.
and harness your power.
See y'all
See you
next
next
time.
time, guys.